base Nesta, the Italian centre-back. It is his baby version. He's got an 88, a 90 and a 92. It is the the icon swaps base or mid icon pack. We managed to get him. Unfortunately, we did get two stinky icons from Litmanen and Nesta in terms of value, but I thought, you know what, give him a review, see what it's all about. He's got great defensive stats, good physicals, pace wise it's about average. It's not amazing, but with a shadow does go up to 80. I'm interested to see what he is. Let me know down below, what is your favourite icon so far in FIFA 21? Let's get into the review. Make sure you like and subscribe. So you're probably thinking, Nesta. Is he worth any sort of value? Should you get him? Should you want to craft him, grind him if he comes into an SBC? I think baby-wise, he's not amazing. I feel like as he gets into his prime and prime moments, he's not necessarily the most usable or most kind of like featured icon in the club, but he's most definitely got a little bit more about him. The one thing I was kind of like always taken back with Nesta is his defensive stats are absolutely beautiful. 90 defending on the base. Obviously, if you act at anchor, you act as shadow, you are looking at pretty much 95, 96 plus defensive stats, and pretty much most defensive in like the detail, so they got the interceptions, defensive awareness, stand and slide are all practically 99. Obviously his head and accuracy is only 85, which technically does bring the average down by quite a bit. So realistically, if you took out the head and accuracy in terms of actual tackling, you're looking at 99. That for me is phenomenal. You'll have 80 pace, 82 acceleration, 78 sprint speed. It's not the worst in terms of pace, but definitely the animations and how he is a little bit clunkier than someone like a Virgil, like a Gomez, someone who's a bit more leaner. Even though Virgil is a very tall centre-back and is quite a bulky guy, it seems like that his animations is better suited for this game. And even Virgil in this FIFA, I wouldn't personally say he's as meta as he was last year. He's not the person that is in absolutely everybody's team. That for me is, I think the biggest one has got to be Rio. He is phenomenal in this game. And I think the big thing we've got with centre-backs this year is there is so many options, so many players that you can go with. Obviously Varane is probably top dog at the moment in terms of efficiency for coins. You can still use his gold card and absolutely slap. Same with Joe Gomez, an 83 centre-back. You can still go into a game and he'll still do incredible stuff for you. Then you've got the likes of Kunde, Eder Militao if you're on a really lower scale. Then you've got a road to the final Alaba. You've got so many options. It is unreal. And I think as you turn to icons, everybody goes with that same kind of group. Rio, Maldini, even Desai, Blanc. There is so many that you can choose from. And obviously one of my favourites is got to be Cannavaro. Absolutely cracked for such a smaller defender. He puts in an absolute shift every game, and I've got his base. I have played with his prime. I'm very impressed. Whereas looking at Nesta, he's a 2-star skiller. Disregard that. 3-star weak foot. Obviously I don't necessarily always drop points for a centre-back. It's always an optional bonus for me, just so they can use 2 feet. If it comes to a scenario where he takes your left and you've got to use your left foot, then obviously having a 4-star weak foot is always nice about that. If he has to take your right and you're on your stronger foot, you're kind of always calm with him. Strength-wise, incredible. 93 strength, 86 aggression. Nothing really too much to say about that one. 68 stamina. It's getting towards the lower end. I'm not a massive fan. I do like in the 70s at the very minimum for a centre-back, just because I don't want them to be knackered in the most important part or important position in the field, really. Yes, you've got your strikers to score goals, but even if you can score goals, if your defence is not putting up to scratch in tackling the likes of Mbappe, Ronaldo, Messi, Neymar, the whole nine, then obviously you're doing something that you need to change. You need to change him out and kind of get him somebody else in who's going to do a better job. The one thing I would say with Nesta is partner him up with someone absolutely rapid, because then you've kind of got that almost like a partnership that works. You've got Nesta as the absolute Donny who can tackle, and then you've got someone as, just in case he misses, maybe he kind of does that little bit of an EA. You tackle him, he gets the ball back, he's through on goal. You've got your fast centre back to catch up with him, or to be that kind of like a sweeper where he's already there to kind of sweep up the mess if it does come to that. Agility, 36, very, very low, and you obviously can see that in the game, which is funny because when he's on the ball, he's not the greatest, but in terms of jockeying, absolutely phenomenal. He feels so much quicker when you're jockeying rather than actually on the ball, which does have parts to do with agility, balance, and ball control. He's got great reactions. Composure at 82, I think, can do for the moment, but coming in at what, 240 to 230, depending on what console you're on, I personally wouldn't pay for that. I'd happily take him out of an SBC. It's another icon, it's not a duplicate, but in terms of paying coins for that, I really, really wouldn't kind of recommend him. But let's look at his gameplay and we'll make a final decision in the overall. So looking at Nesta, honestly, with kind of like gameplay and all of this with centre backs, it can be tricky because obviously you've got to let the opponent attack you. Some games, it's not too bad. I play in at the minute in Division 1 in Rivals, so I'm coming up against people who can attack me, and probably 8 times out of 10 will probably absolutely destroy me in the game. I'm very much a kind of low tier Division 1 at the moment as I start to get better, and when I'm using centre backs like this compared to not necessarily God squads, but very meta orientated teams, it's very difficult to do reviews with them sort of players. We see Nesta, I honestly don't know why he's at this half, and I kind of was shook to think, why is he at the halfway line? He's a centre back, but holding off players, showing off his strength, managing to get the pass off, and we get it down the line and there's a chance created. And we see him constantly, see there, that lovely step in. I know he didn't win the ball in the end, but he managed to step in so quickly then, and that could literally be the chance of an open goal in Foot Champs if you decided to try and play him. We see the lovely AI there. I don't know how he managed to stop, turn, and control the ball with no effort whatsoever. And that's kind of the thing with him. His defensive style and defensive stats are just unreal. The problem he's got is mainly his pace. If you can get the strength on him, he's going to win the ball. If he gets round you, he gets somebody who's quicker, then you're just going to absolutely be blitzed by pretty much most wingers, most strikers who have a little bit more about them. And we see it constantly with him. He's really good at winning this ball back, kind of playing it out, and he's got the cheeky little pass as well. We see me trying a few different things as well, just to see his kind of overall game, as obviously I do like a defender that can handle the ball. We don't want a defender like right there. If I'm trying to pass it instantly, it's not a great time. But if we do go into the overall for Nesta then, so we have got Maldini as the similar link, obviously his left back, which is his base. I think it's a cracking link. Obviously you could go with someone like Cannavaro's base, mid or prime next to him, and you do have the likes of Baresi. Again, another defender who's very much like Nesta. Great tackler, pace is just not all there in my opinion. But we do look at him and we think, okay, we've got a shadow on him. It's really not as awful. There's obviously massive points you want to increase. Like I say, stamina being huge. Agility would be one that I'd want to get a little bit higher. Obviously it's not going to happen unfortunately in icons, as they're pretty much stuck in their ways. Obviously balance again would be nice higher. I'd say ball control would benefit from being higher, but again it is more of an optional one, as he still manages to get the ball out. As long as he can tackle and kind of shift it to a left back or a right back, I'm absolutely fine with that. Then we've got short pass. Again, it would be an optional one. I would like that one preferably higher compared to ball control, just so I know when he does pass it out, it is going to be very confident, very composed, and he can manage to get it out. I would like to say at least 9 to 10 out of 10 times every single time, because it's what a centre-back needs to do. If you're struggling to get the ball out with a centre-back, you could be in trouble. I've been caught multiple times, maybe not getting my own pass out right, or kind of holding the ball a bit too much, maybe getting a little bit cocky. Maybe I'm 3-0 up and suddenly I'm 3-1 down and he's got the momentum. And more than likely, in this game, the momentum shifts, and it might not be an actual kind of like game-related thing, but it's a mental thing. If you've conceded and then suddenly it goes 3-2, I guarantee you there is a very strong chance that it goes 3-3, because it's just what happens. You lose your head, and then it's sometimes harder for necessarily lower players. Pro players can kind of cope with that to some extent, but I think lower rated players tend to lose their head, and I'm personally talking about myself as well, and kind of like just throw the lead. I threw a 3-0 lead recently and I was absolutely dominating for the first half. Second half, I didn't bother. I couldn't really be bothered to score more goals, so you start playing up, suddenly you're on the back foot. And Nesta is probably one of the defenders you don't want as your final back defender, because there's so many options that you can just absolutely go around him. Overall wise though, we've given him a solid if I can find the screen, 6 out of 10. Unfortunately, he is the lowest rated icon so far. He probably isn't going to be the lowest because I guarantee there's worse out there. But I think for me, in terms of all the other icon centre backs, he's one of the worst in terms of the overall factor in a FUT Champs back lineup. There is so many more that you can go for, and probably for only 100 to 200k more of a price. I feel like Nesta for his price is pretty much going to be just fodder if they require an icon in an SBC, which I think we will see down the line in the prime and prime moments, because I don't think there's any other way, bar from adding so many squads, to actually get that monetary value up. But hopefully you did enjoy this video. Like I say, let me know who is your favourite icon in FIFA 21 so far. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you all for the next one. Peace.